So in the last video, we learned about printing variables. We learned about printing numbers. We learned about printing strings. So let's clear the screen. Let's clear the console. To do that, I'm going to press Control and L. All right. Or I could also type clear, and that does it. All right. So I have cleared my console. I have more space now. All right. So Control plus L. If you type these, you clear the screen. So one thing that most programming languages allow us to do is to get input from outside the computer, um, bring it into the computer. Okay, so we refer to that as input. So in Python, if we want to get input, we use the input function. Okay. Now the input function expects a string. And if you recall, a string can be something with double quotes or something surrounded by single quotes, right? So in here, we will ask a question. Let's say we want to find out how old someone is, okay? So for that, we're gonna say, how old are you, colon, or let's put a question mark, and then I'm going to put a space. Okay, so it's important that we put a space after the question mark so that the person knows that that's where they should give an answer. Okay, and I'm going to close it here. Now let's press enter, and we're asked how old are you, and let's say I put 40 and I press enter. Right now 40 is shown back to me in single quotes, of course. Now I have a problem, because what if I wanted to use this 40 in a print statement? Let's say I wanted to print a message such as, you are 40 years old. Well, unfortunately I did not save that 40. Okay, so if we have input, then we must save that input somewhere. And that's the whole point of variables, so that we can store the data and use it later. Okay, so how do we take the input that the user gives us and save it? Well, that's simple enough. So let me use the up arrow key to get back my input. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to create a variable. Let's call it user underscore age. And we have the equal sign and a space. So that seems like a very good variable name. Okay, it tells me what will be stored in it. Okay, so let's see if this does the trick. I'm going to press enter. Once again, it is asking me how old I am, and I'm going to put 40 again. And notice nothing is shown to me. All right. So let's type user underscore age, and we see that 40 has been stored in user age. Now, what I am about to say is very important. Everything that you enter into the computer, okay, when you ask somebody a question, whatever they enter will be stored as a string. Okay, so if I say what's the type of user age, it tells me it's of type string. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, I am bringing this up because I will need to convert strings to numbers if I want to do arithmetic with that input. So let's say I wanted to add 10 to user age. Okay, you would think this would work. Unfortunately, it doesn't, because you cannot add a string value to a number. Python will give us what is called a type error. What is type? Type, as you know, is the data type of the variable, of the value. Here I'm trying to add a string to a number. And Python is saying, I can't do that. That's not a rule in Python. So we will come back to this later, where we will need to convert this string to a number so that we could do something like this. Alright, so keep that in the back of your mind. Alright, so I have the value safely stored away, so we can print that value. Okay, once I'm gonna print, I don't need to do anything. I don't need to convert it to a number or none of that. Just print it. So let me say I am happy to know that you are, okay, full stop, close it, and what comes next? A dot. I'm going to say format, and we will put the name of the variable, which is user age. And then I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to do one more to close that. And so if I press enter, we will see it prints, I am happy to know that you are 40. Alright. Okay, so let's say I want to find out how old this person will be in 10 years. Okay, well, I know I need to add 10. But previously we saw that if I do user underscore age plus 10, oops, plus user plus 10, we get an error. So let's fix this. Alright, so what we need to do, we need to tell Python to convert the string to a number so that we can add it to another number. So to do that, which is straightforward enough, we will put the name of the type that we want to convert to. And since it's int, we will use the int function. What does the int function expect? And notice, whenever I talk about functions, I always say they expect something inside the parenthesis. Okay? Well, the int function expects a string that can be converted to a number. User age is one such string. Okay? Notice now, the 40 does not have the quotes anymore. Okay, if I type user age, has it been converted to a number? No, it's still a string. And you should be thinking right now, of course it's a string. The only way I will make this conversion permanent is if I save the result. Remember, this is a value now. This 40 is a value. So if I want to preserve this value, I need to save it in a variable. So let's create a new variable. And let's call that variable int underscore user value. Okay, and I'm going to assign to it the value I get when I convert user value from a string to an integer. Oh, did I make a mistake? Let's see. It's saying that user underscore value is not defined. Okay, So what does that mean? It means that Python is telling me that you are putting the name of a variable that doesn't exist. Whenever you use the name of a variable that doesn't exist, Python gives us a name error. And of course, this variable name doesn't exist. It should actually be user age. Alright? So always be mindful that you're using the correct variable name. So I'm going to change this to user age. Alright, so no error. So now if I ask for the type of int underscore user underscore value, it tells me it's an int. Excellent. So that means if I type int underscore user underscore value, I should see 40. Now keep in mind, if I type user underscore age, it still contains the original string 40. Alright, great. So now I can do my calculation. So now I can say maybe user age plus 10, okay, is going to be assigned the value which I get by adding int user value plus 10. And now notice there is no error because this is a number and this is a number, and adding two numbers in Python is allowed. So if I ask to show me the value of int age underscore plus underscore 10, Python gives me 50, and notice there is no quotes because 50 is a number. Alright, so this is how we get input from the user. We use the input function. And the key takeaway is anything that the user enters is a string. And so if we need to do some kind of calculation with that string, such as adding with another number or multiplying with another number, we need to first convert that variable, its value, from a string to a number. Alright, so in the next video, we will look at putting all the things we have learned together so that we see the big picture, whereby we can have input, we can do calculations to that input, and then we can print the results to the console. Because remember, programming is all about manipulating data. So we need to get the data inside the computer. We write the program to do the manipulation, and then we need to send the data, that manipulated data, out, either to the computer screen or to somewhere else, maybe to a file or maybe to some website. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.